Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, my end. Whatever the time happens to be where you are, my very warm regards. Welcome to Money Amma. And today I am actually going to treat a topic that I have had a lot of requests for, the idea of crowdfunding and crowdfunding for your business. This is something people in some communities have known about for longer than people in other communities. But this is the general principle of crowdfunding. And I have to say, I have used crowdfunding for my business. And there are some things that you need to be aware of before we even start. Crowdfunding is a principle where you invite the crowds to bring small amounts of money so that you can pull together and get a capital for whatever. One, it is a business transaction. And like all business transactions, you need to have certain things in place guaranteed before you get started. It is an arrangement where you offer an interest rate and people will buy into that interest rate and they would come. Make sure that whatever interest rate you are offering is sensible, slightly above what the banks give, but make sure that it's affordable to you. And there is not going to be any threat of defaults from your end that you are going to see through. So I think 2 years ago was when I first put out my first crowdfunding. I wanted to buy some equipment for business, and I invited people to invest anything from £1,000 onwards. And we got quite a few. I think the biggest we got was €5,000, wasn't it, in an influx? Okay. But it was 5,000 here, it was 1,000 here, it was 2,000 here, and it allowed us to build a sensible capital for business. It was life transformational because there was no bank about to lend us money at that time. We were brand new, we were uncharted, and so we would not get a bank loan. We would not even get a personal loan at that point, and so this made sense. And it was a win-win for everybody because I offered, the paperwork was also upfront. You do not own any shares in my company. All you are giving is an amount of money for a fixed amount of time to attract a particular interest. And on the anniversary of it, your money is due. You can roll over. A few people have rolled over theirs. A few people have got paid. Whatever. You tell us what you want to do and we do exactly that one for you. We are coming to the end of the payouts of our crowdfunding. I think we only have 2 arrangements to go, isn't it? One payable this month and the other one payable early next year. And that's it. We are done. My husband and I have managed to use crowdfunding to establish our business, and we are actually coming to the end of that cycle. Maybe later on, as business grows and we need to expand, we might look at it. But for this particular episode, we are coming to the end, and it's been amazing. In order to start inviting people, you need to have a purpose. No, you don't need to share all the full details of your company, but they need to know basically what company it is, what your ideals are, what you are representing. And if they decide to invest, is it going to be ethical, blah, blah, blah. You need to give them the minimum capital you expect to attract and the differences in interest rate layers and the thresholds for the interest. You need to put that out. You need to make sure that it is paperworked from the beginning, so you make them an offer and they accept your offer formally, and then you give them the formal contract. Make sure it is stamped. In some places you give post-dated checks so that the client has the security. At the very least, you give them your formal documentation. If it's a place where your company is registered, you want to give some of those documentation in trust to the people who become your funders. They are not partners. They are silent. They have no say in your business. The risk is all yours. The profits are all yours. You just pay them whatever you have agreed to pay. That is crowdfunding. Why is that important? It changes the game for little businesses. It allows even tiny little startups like mine to operate freely. You don't have to have monthly payments the way you do if you want to get a loan. So if it's for a 12-month, 18-month, 24-month period, you don't disturb my peace whilst we are in agreement. I have that period of time to knuckle down and get what I need done. And when it comes to your payout, your money comes to you simples. So it's not in the early 12 months I have to worry about paying a certain amount every month when money is not coming in yet. It's really good. It gives you freedom to operate. Very good. The risks. If you miscalculate and you go offer senseless interest rates that your company is not going to be able to turn over, then yeah, it will put you in a very tight corner. If you go and you give very short periods without enough time for you to turn a profit, again, that's also going to be funny. So one of the things with crowdfunding, one of the key things with crowdfunding when you throw things out is to make sure that you've done your calculation in-house accurately, that your projections and predictions are bang on, that your turnover can accommodate the interest you are offering, or you've got securities in place to be able to return, that the documentation is in place and you don't default, so people who try the first rounds will be convinced to roll over and would tell other people. As you build credibility, it really does help. It does. Should you do crowdfunding? I don't know about you. Do you need funding? Yeah. If you do crowdfunding from a personal point of view, you are actually working from the saver's point of view rather than a borrower's point of view with the bank. So if I went to the bank and I took a loan, the person whose money is sat in the bank is probably getting 2% interest from the banks if they are lucky in this climate. But the bank is probably going to charge me 20%, and all the profit goes to the bank. But if I'm smart and the bank is offering 2% and I offer you 5%, it's double your money. So for you as a saver, it's win because you've doubled what you're getting. For me as a borrower, it's wonderful because I've cut off 15% or whatever the difference between the bank rate and this one. So I am getting a good rate. I'm paying less. You are getting a great rate. You are getting more. And the only person who is losing out in this relationship is the bank. And I think the bank has made enough money from all of us to be able to miss out on this one. So this is the principle of borrow from me. It's direct peer-to-peer lending. It has many names. I give you the money direct without the middleman who is the bank. Yeah, I take a risk by giving you the money because the securities without the middleman are not as much, but I can get better interest. It's good for me. And if you are somebody who's considering investing in a crowdfunding peer-to-peer situation, it is also your job to make sure that whoever you are investing with is very, very carefully vetted. Make sure that the calculations they are giving you are not wild calculations, they are sensible and feasible, that it is likely that these people would be able to return your money. And yeah, don't put your lifetime savings in the first time you do a crowdfund. You might want to put a small fraction of what you have available. Always invest with what you would not kill yourself over if you lost. That's what I always say to people. When you are prospecting, the first time you prospect, go with an amount that you can live with if you were to lose. So I don't know, £1,000 here, £1,000 there, see how it goes. If they are credible, and if you see evidence of, if you go to a website and it's a real working business, you will know. You will see customers ordering, you will see people giving testimonials. You have to invest in things that are tangible, okay? Things that are tangible. Don't go for wild things. So a lot of you are trying to convince me into Bitcoin. I will look into those things, but to be honest, things that are not tangible take a long time to gel in my head because the risks are high. Yeah, tangible things, when somebody produces stuff and they can sell stuff and you can see them, they have a physical address. Yeah, it's a lot easier for you to follow up, monitor your investments. Your investments are a little bit more secure in those scenarios than bits where you don't see anything, don't hear anything, and you go on just goodwill. Okay, so I hope this is not going to be a long video. Somebody asked me to explain crowdfunding, getting money from the crowds in small amounts per person, but piling up in total. So I have, say, 10,000 Facebook followers. And if I were to put a scenario out where my 10,000 Facebook followers each had to give me $2 so that we could do a project, well, that's $20,000. And all each person pays is a pitiful $2. And we can do so much. Yeah, those of you on my channels, I think we clearly should talk. We should find $5 each and put into a fund, and to find something for those $5 each to do. But yeah, 20,000 of you and over on my main page. And if each one of you were to bring just $5 religiously, $5, and we put them in a, forget each one of you, half of you, so 10,000 of you were to bring $5, we have $50,000 for a project. I think we should definitely consider it. If you are an association, if you are a group, crowdfunding is your big friend. The charities out there, those who came on training yesterday, and I was explaining how to leverage things so you no longer have to beg. These are some of the truths that you need to know. Yeah, you can crowdfund, not necessarily soliciting things for free, but you might be able to get a base capital, invest the base capital, and use the dividends of the capital to offset what you need to do and return people's monies to them. Amazing, amazing. It's a lot easier to convince people to part with $5 than to convince them to give you 1,000. So start small, but go for large numbers of smalls, so that the large numbers of smalls add up to the big capital you need. Each person only feels a small pinch, but you get where you need in the end, because safety remains in numbers. In crowdfunding, there is safety in numbers. You want to have say I want $10,000. So I'll invite 20 people, 100 people to come into partnership so that they can each give me 100, 100 times 100. Is still my 10,000, and each person only sees 100. Not a big deal. A lot of people are likely to be willing to give 100 to a course. The risk is very low, and I still get my 10,000 from the numbers to move forward. So if you are interested in crowdfunding and you want me to be your coach, to help you, to coach you to do it, no, it's a paid service. So you will have to come book a session to come into discussion with me, and yes, I can mentor you, I can coach you, I can guide you on how to do it, because I have lived it. I have changed my business with this very simple principle. Anyway, any questions you have, pop them in the comment section. Feel free to contact me. If you know the usual contact details, I'll put them in the description of the video as well. And yeah, let's teach each other, let's learn from each other, and let's get better. In this year, we are going to transform our finances. We're going to get liberty, financial liberty, because we will apply core principles to change our destinies. So today's episode has been crowdfunding, and I hope it's been useful. See you soon for the next one.